Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. And as always, it is your boy, Mr. Karan Rose. What's going on, Digipreneur family? What's going on? And you know what? And a big shout outs to the Instagram live family. IG, we're live on IG. So if you listen to Digipreneur FM and you haven't subscribed to me on Instagram, I like to do a lot of behind the scenes on Instagram. So jump on Instagram, look up Karan Rose and, join in the fun, right? Let me cut that music. Let's turn that music all the way off and get into episode number 51. How on earth did we get to episode number 51 already? My goodness. But you know what? We hit last week, or last episode was a special one because we got to hit that big 50, right? That was a big one for me. Now, today is another special episode because it's December the 9th. It is my baby brother's 24th birthday. Somebody drop a bomb for me. Big ups to Kobe. Big ups to Killer Kobe. My brother's always listening to the podcast, so I definitely wanted to shout him out. But that's not the only reason why this episode is a special one. There is a reason. Now, again, if you were watching us on Instagram Live, you guys will be seeing right now, I ensure to have a nice, special alcoholic beverage on my side. You guys can hear the ice. But the reason we have a little something to drink tonight is because Mr. Rose's birthday is in just a few hours. December the 10th is my birthday. I'm here talking to myself in the third person. December the 10th is my birthday. We're a couple hours away. So definitely, if you're hearing this episode, please pour a shot, take a shot with me. If you're on Instagram, please just drop some hearts. The birthday's in a couple of hours. Drop some hearts. Show your boy some love and drop a bomb on that. Drop a bomb on that. I turn 35. I don't know how we have gotten to 35. I don't know how we are now the new adults. How is this happening? I did not sign an agreement to become the new adults. I'm not ready. I ain't ready for that, right? This whole entire time, the past couple of weeks, I've just been sitting to myself wondering, God, what do I want out of life? Yo, am I trying to get a house? Am I trying to take out a mortgage? Like, what? Listen, there's just been a lot of thoughts, a lot going on in my mind over the past couple of weeks. But you know what? It's all good. It's all a part of the growing process. And I mean, we're gonna figure it out or die trying. All right. So enough of all that. Enough of all that, folks. Enough of all that. So we got the IG fam tuned in live. We're recording the Digipreneur FM podcast. And again, we're giving the IG fam a nice behind the scenes look so they can see what goes on. They're going to be the first people to get a crack at the episode. And we're going to have a live Q&A afterwards, which is why, again, if you listen to the podcast and you are not subscribed to on Instagram, go head over to Instagram, give us a follow, because when we do these things, it's a nice interactive session where you guys can ask your questions and we can have some fun, all right? Tonight's episode is the 5 ways to build your authority in your space, all right? 5 ways to build your authority in your space. Now, this is, we talk only about important things when it comes to building your brand on this podcast, right? But when you are building your brand, you're creating content, you're doing everything. You're creating the content, you're on every single platform, you're dancing, you're shooking and jiving on TikTok, you're doing the most, right? But you might not be getting some of the traction that you want. Or maybe you are getting the traction that you want. You're getting all the likes, you're getting the comments, you're getting the shares, but the money isn't following, or the opportunities are not generating in the way that you would like them to generate. And one of the reasons why that happens is because you are not viewed as the authority figure in your space. Now think about it, right? Whatever industry you are thinking about, or you think about, there is a figurehead. There's a leader in that space, or there's multiple leaders in those respective spaces and in different countries and whatnot, right? And typically what happens is those are the guys and gals that get all of the opportunities first. So if somebody wants to do something and they need assistance or they need guidance or they need to bring in somebody to help them, build whatever they're building, their mind always runs on who is the most well-known person and not the most popular. Who is the leader? Who is the person that has built a brand of getting things done? They're an expert at what they do. They're credible. They have a track record, and they can get things done. Who is that person in that niche? And that is who we're going to call to bring in to ask our questions. Or, again, they come in here and they help us with our problems. All right. So this episode is on how to build your authority. And I'm going to give you guys 5 key ways that you can build your authority in your space. And I'm also going to give personal examples from my own experience on how I've been able to use these 5 tips in my own way, in my own brand, to get to the point that I'm at. And, hopefully 2022, we level up, we 10X, right? So let's dive into it. Number one. So the first key way to build your authority in your niche is to form partnerships. Yes, that is right. I know many people are like, no, I'm good. I don't want to work with nobody. I just want to do my thing quietly. I just want to do my own thing. And listen, that's all well and good. But we're talking about if you want to become the authority in your space, this is things you got to do. And number one, we're kicking it right off with partnerships, right? So what you want to do is you want to start to research and figure out who are the biggest businesses and companies in your industry and this is key, who are the biggest businesses and companies that share a similar mission to what you are trying to do. Make a list of those people or those companies and start looking at how you can align yourself with those businesses or brands. And typically you're looking for people or companies that are ahead of you, that are bigger than you. You look for who are the pillars in your space. So again, I'm going to give you guys real life examples of how I've been able to implement these things, right? So when I first started Droid Island back in 2016, I was blogging, I was doing my thing, I was showing my expertise, right? Cool, no problem. But the next level, if I wanted to reach that next level now, and if I wanted to be taken serious and be seen as somebody who is a mover and shaker, I needed to start working with brands that had a similar vision to me and figure out how we could work together. And when you are coming up and you don't really have a name and you need to approach a lot of these brands, what happens is people kind of come to these brands and they position themselves as hey, you need me more than I need you. When that's not the case. You are coming to them. You're nobody. You're on the come up. and they're a pillar in your industry. So they don't technically need you, right? But a lot of times when they get approached, one of the biggest complaints from brands is that, people reach out to us all the time and they act like they are doing us a favor. And that's not the case. What you want to do when you are approaching brands who are bigger than you, especially when you're just starting out, is you want to come to them and figure out how you could be of service to them, how you can solve a problem for them and their customers or their audience. So when I started Droid Island, I think about 9 to 10 months in, I had connected with the good folks over at Huawei. And at that point in time, I was blogging, I was YouTubing, so I had a wealth of content already in the space. So when I connected with them, and I seen the type of content they were doing, all the content that they were pretty much putting out was just ads. And I connected with them and I threw out an idea and I was like, well, I educate on smartphones, right? I don't hard sell. However, we could do a series where you guys are the headline sponsor, and we'll do it on your platform. And let's create a series where we are educating people on how to use their smartphones in a variety of topics. But the branding could be Huawei, and all of the phones that we use throughout the series and the content, everything would be done on a Huawei. So you're going to get the branding, you're going to get the stage, but we're educating. I'm solving a pain point for you. And I also knew that they had the pain points because when I was doing my market research and I was doing my search engine listing and extracting that data to see exactly what were people searching for when it came to smartphones in the industry, I came to them with data. I was like, look, 4,500 times somebody Googled how to take a screenshot on your phone. You have nowhere on your platforms talking about screenshots. Look, 10,000 times people are asking about how to do a screen recording. You have nowhere on your platforms talking about screen recordings, right? So I came to them with data and I showed them, hey, look at some of the topics that people are searching for on Google, right? And let's take some of these key issues that people have and turn it into what then became the Droid Masterclass, right? And that was a 10-part series backed by Huawei. And we educated on a variety of topics. So I did not have to hard sell, but I came to them with information that they didn't have, and I came to them trying to solve a problem for them, and it meshed very, very well. So I did my research. They were a very willing partner. I connected with them. We networked. We had a very good rapport. I built that relationship with them. So when it came time to make that pitch, they were on board. Now, here's the next thing. It was a 10-part series, right? And originally when I came to them, I'm still new in the industry, right? I'm still new. So what we worked out was I would do the first 2 episodes on the house for free. And if you liked it, then let's talk sponsorship and money. If you don't like it, then, well, scrap it after 2, right? We did 2. We could just use it as content and keep it moving. And because I was willing to bet on myself, I put everything on the table where they didn't lose anything. It was a yes, right? I made it so that it was going to be a yes. Now, here's the thing. Even if they did not like it, and this is where you got to be strategic, even if they did not like it, we were able to use their brand on those 2 videos because it was going to be content for them on their platform. So even if they did not like it, right, I would have still been able to say, look, I did content with Huawei. I got 2 videos and I did content with Huawei. So that would have still helped build my authority, right? But because I betted on myself and I said, I'm going to do the 2 for free. If you guys like it, let's talk sponsorship. And because I did that, when I made my proposal, I asked for more money than what I would have got originally if I had given my original proposal with the 10 episodes paid. I ended up making more money doing the 8 than if I were to give them all 10, I got paid for all 10. So that was a win, win, win in every sense of the win. And that was my first major win That was my first big win, being a new brand. Droid Island was new, right? We weren't even 10 months old when this thing started to get put together. Right? So when you approach brands, do your homework, do your research, approach them as you are solving a problem for them. Look at what their audience wants, look at what some of the problems are, what they're facing, and pitch your product or service as some way that it helps solve a problem for them. And when you create that partnership, right? What does the audience see? The audience sees you partnering with the industry leader in your space. And that is how authority rubs off on your brand as well. So the minute I did Huawei, right after I did Huawei, Digicel called, B-Mobile called, Samsung called. Immediately after I did the Huawei sponsorship, the Huawei masterclass deal, right? Loop Caribbean called. So that generated a lot of opportunities. It was a win in every sense of the word, right? So partnerships. Look for industry leaders. Look for industry leaders in your space and figure out how you could solve a problem for them and create a win-win situation for the two of you, all right? Number 2, Rose, what do we got as number 2? Guest writing, guest blogging. Look for news houses. Look for news houses in your country or in your market or out of market, because it doesn't have to be your market, right? It could be out of your market, but look for news houses or authority figures. So if there's bloggers or, if there's bloggers or vloggers who are bigger than you in your industry. So you're going to look for news houses or look for industry people, bloggers, vloggers who are bigger than you. Reach out to them to guest post or guest write on their platform. Reach out to them to guest write or guest post on their platform and get your content on their platform. This is an amazing way to build your authority. So, example, what I did, this is 2019. So Droid Island came out 2016. This is, 3 years later. And I reached out to, so I had connected with one of the editors for Loop Caribbean. So we were good. We had a relationship. We knew who each other was. And then I had put out some content, and she reached out to me to interview me on that particular topic. So once that happened, where I got interviewed, in that conversation, I was like, well, what would it take for me to guess right for Loop on tech? She was like, well, you looking to get paid? I'm like, nah, I'm not looking to get paid. I just want to guess right. And this is the thing. Remember, you always have to be willing to do things for free. Even rich people do things for free, but they're very strategic in what they do for free. So you have guys who write books and use writing a book, a whole damn novel. They will use that as a loss leader to generate paid speaking gigs, workshops, sell their digital courses, but they'll give away the book for free and use that as a loss leader. So everybody will do certain things for free, but you have to be strategic in what you do for free. So again, I, at the time, still felt like my name isn't big. I'm not popping yet, right? I don't even feel like I'm popping now, but I'm just doing better than I was before. So I was like, I would like to guest write for you guys at Loop Caribbean. Are you trying to get paid? No, I just want to guest write. No problem. Let me go talk to the head editor and let's cement it. And that came back, yes, and I got my own column at Loop Caribbean. That column was called The Digital Age. So that was way back, early 2019. And I did that for a few months. Had my own column on Loop, and I was writing about tech. I was writing about online business. I was doing all that jazz, right? I was doing all that jazz and giving it away at no cost. But guess what? The guest writing does a couple of things for you. So number one, because Loop is one of the top media houses Caribbean-wide, it helps to build my profile because people are now seeing my name, they're seeing my pictures, they're seeing my content on that platform. And it was like, yo, this guy is doing big thing. No one knew I wasn't getting paid. No one knew it was a guest column. No one cares. They just see the outcome. The outcome was Caron Rose is writing for Loop on tech. We're seeing his stuff. This man has made it. This man is, clearly on his way. So I did that. And the authority from Loop Caribbean, because they're one of the top media houses, that authority extends to me because I'm now writing for the platform. Two, because their content is all digital, that also helps me become more Googleable. So when you Google, you're going to see the news articles that I've written or that I get featured on and whatnot. So you want to guess right, so that you can become more Googleable. So when people Google your name, they can see the other work that you have done on reputable platforms. That helps build your authority space in your niche. Guess right for news houses, or look for bloggers or vloggers who are bigger than you. Reach out to them and say, hey, can I guess right on your platform? Can I do that? And you better bring your A game, right? Because remember, you're messing with people's brands. For them to co-sign you and allow you to come on their platform and write means that they would have vetted you and they believe in what you're talking about. So you got to bring the best content that you have ever brought. You got to show your ass when you get that opportunity to go and guess right on somebody else's platform. Because you could write shit content for yourself. No one gives a damn. But to do, not good content on somebody else's platform, that can't happen, right? Because you're jeopardizing somebody else's brand and you're going to ruin that cosign that they're giving you, right? So guest write or guest blog on news houses. Start your own column. Reach out to them. Get that relationship. All these reporters and editors, they're all on LinkedIn. Jump on LinkedIn. Type in your news house and go look for the editors. Go look for the column writers. I make it a habit that anytime I read an article or I see the papers, I always look at who wrote it. And if I like the article or if the article is within my industry, I would go find that reporter on LinkedIn and add them and engage with them. That way, because I know they have written content in my niche, I know that when I put out similar content, I'm just going to shoot it to them. Like, hey, check that out. What do you think? And I've gotten featured many times because of that. So what will happen is, because I've done that and I've engaged with them and I know who has written similar content on their own in my space, and I've engaged with them, when they have a topic that they might not be too sure on and they have to get research done, they're going to come to you because you're the expert and they will interview you. Right? So make sure that you guys just keep in mind who the reporters are. And then once you build that relationship, ask them straight up, yo, how can I go about guest writing for the papers or guest writing for your platform or whatever? And you'll be surprised. Once they respect you, they will guide you on that process to guest writing. And again, I would not use that as a way to jump out the gate and be like, hey, how much does it pay? No, the goal is to build your authority. The money is always going to come. Build your authority. When they start to produce the content and it goes online, that's going to help build your Google ability, right? Because that content is going to be up online. And then also, the third thing that guest writing does for you is ask them to link back to your website. If you can get news houses or authority figures in your space to give you the coveted backlink, linking back to your website, that could be a high traffic driver back to your platform. All right? That could be a high traffic driver back to your platform, writing for news outlets and having them link back to your platform. So you're going to reach out to them, do it pro bono, build your Google ability, build your thought leadership, and ask them if they can link back to your website. That is what guest writing, guest blogging, guest vlogging does for you. All right? So that's number 2. Rose, talk to me. What do we got for number 3? Let me take a drink. I got my 35th birthday coming up in a couple of hours. I'm talking to you guys on IG Live and the Digipreneur FM podcast family. If you guys hear that ice, I got to take a little drink. IG fam, show some love. Double tap the screen. Drop some hearts for the 35th birthday coming up on a few hours, all right? Number 3, let's get into it. The third thing you can do to build your authority level in your industry is do case studies. Work with companies or individuals and run your expertise with them for a limited amount of time. Track your results and use them as case studies. So, I've worked with brands where I did not charge them anything. I just wanted to work with them to get a result. And once I got that result, I could then speak about them as a case study and say, hey, when I worked with X, Y, and Z, this is what we did. This is what I've learned. This is what I've seen. I was able to move them from point A to point B. And I'm not telling you go and do free work for 3 and 4 months. No. Set a time limit. Set a very clear objective. And what you want is you want them as a case study. Remember, you are building your authority. You are building a bulletproof brand here. This branding thing goes beyond looking good, dressing, your mood board, your colors, your logo, F all of that. Listen, to this day, nobody's asked me what font I use, eh? To this day, nobody's asked me about, you have a uniform? Nah. I show up in government office. I show up in workshops, hoodie down. Lucky these people ain't get my sweats and flip-flops yet, but trust me, I'm going to get so big just now that I'm going to roll up to a workshop in a sweats and a flip-flops. Watch you know. But work with these brands. Find people. For the case studies, it doesn't even need to be big brands. For case studies, it doesn't need to be big brands. You can work with a friend, family, small brand, whoever. Work with them. Let them know what you're trying to achieve. What is the goal you guys are trying to achieve? Document that process. Jump on Instagram. Showcase that you're working with them. Showcase. Give Instagram the behind the scenes of what you are doing with them. And when the engagement is done, whether it was a pass or fail, be transparent and showcase that. Talk about it as a case study. When you are building a robust brand as an authority figure, people want to see that you have worked with the biggest brands and you have partnerships with them. People want to see that you have been guest writing or guest vlogging or showing up as a guest at 7 o'clock news or the morning shows to speak as a person of expert on a topic. People also want to see that you have been able to get results. So as somebody who is new, go and find anybody that you could work with that you think is going to be serious. Work with them. Try to achieve a result. Document that process. Use it as a case study for your content. That way you can show that you have a track record of getting results. I think that deserves another drink. Make sense? Make sense, IG fam? Please tap the screen, drop some hearts if that makes sense, IG fam. Podcast fam, I just want you guys to take notes and nod. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's all you got to do for me, podcast fam. All right, case studies, all right? So, number 4, what do we got? Rose, talk to me. What is the 4th way to build authority in your niche? fourth way is to, I know somebody's going to hate me when I say this. The fourth way is to write a book. Write a book. Somebody is listening to this saying right now, what? A whole book? You mean all them pages? Whole heap of pages you want me write? Listen, writing a book is a surefire way to leapfrog your status as an authority figure, because a book at a minimum should be about minimum 30,000 words. And it gives you the opportunity to dive deep into a topic, and it gives you the opportunity to lay out a process from point A to point B and let people read it cover to cover and get a result. And that is a surefire way to show the public that you know what you were talking about in your respective space. What a lot of people do is they jump out and they create planners, empty page planners, and put some quotes in. No, that's not a business coach. Your business coach is not telling you, hey, I made a planner, go and buy that, and I'm now an authority. No. Warm to some people. That's not what happens, right? An authority figure is going to dive deep into his topic, cover to cover, minimum 30,000 words, give you something from point A to point B to get a result. And by the time they finish reading that book, if you've done your job, the people should view you as an authority figure in your space. If you've done your job in that book, a book, that tangible book, is one of the most surefire ways to build yourself as an authority figure. Now, what I did back in 2018, so remember, I started Droid Island back in September 2016. My first full year was obviously 2017, and 2018, early 2018, what I decided to do was, I'm like, okay, if writing books, is a way to build authority, well, let me put together, and at that time, I was still doing my Android stuff, my smartphone stuff. I put together an ebook on how to take care of your smartphone, of your Android phone specifically. And because I've been blogging for so long, I had all of this content about maintaining your device. I had that all in blogs scattered across from 2016 to 2018. So what I did was I compiled all of it. I updated what needed to be updated, added in some extra chapters or whatever, and put together the Droid Aftercare ebook. Put that on Amazon, right? And the goal was not to sell. And I want you guys to make note of this. The goal with books isn't to sell, because the average author, I'm not talking about the superstar authors. The average author sells less than 500 books of that book. The average author sells less than 500 books. That's not a way to make money, right? But the reason they write the book is because of the opportunities that come with writing a book. So the minute that book I did was like almost 40 pages, right? Again, it was just very right to the point, how to maintain your Android device. Nobody else in the Caribbean had done something like that, but I wanted to do something for a couple reasons. For one, I did that book because I learned about the Amazon author page. And the Amazon author page is something that they give you. It is real estate they give you on Amazon. And Amazon has the highest level of SEO capabilities of any website on the internet. So it always shows up as number one in a Google search for the topics that you particularly look for. If you look up a product, and once it's found on Amazon, Amazon is always going to be the first on the list, right? So I put together the book, got it on Amazon so I can get the Amazon author page, right? And that allowed me to put my bio in. That allowed me to put a little bit of content, a little couple of videos and links to my website. But most importantly, it allowed me to set up an RSS feed to connect my blog, my Droid Island blog from my website to the Amazon author page. And what that RSS feed does is it fed all of my blogs that I wrote automatically to Amazon. So if somebody Googled me and they found my Amazon author page, they would automatically see all of the blogs I wrote on, and it would always be up to date. That was the reason I wrote the Amazon author page. Then after writing the book, then I got interviewed from a couple of news houses. I got interviewed on Newsday. I got interviewed on Loop Caribbean. And I got interviewed somewhere else for the book as well, right? But again, opportunities generated simply because I wrote the book, right? And because I wrote the book, it once again elevated my status as an authority figure in the tech industry in the Caribbean. All right? So write the book. So my next goal is to write that 30,000 minimum book. Digipreneur, I'm gonna have that done before Q2 next year. That's my goal, because that's another thing that's going to cement me as a thought leader on online business, e-commerce, marketing within the region and outside of the region, in the diaspora as well. Because I will have that book and it'll be on Amazon so people can order the hard copy, they can order the Kindle version, and my goal would be to invest and try to get into some of the local bookstores as well, right? And then media tour, media run, do that stuff. And again, generate opportunities for yourself. So another key way is write that book. And writing that book, because it's a tangible asset, is a surefire way to leapfrog yourself and build your status as an authority figure in your niche. All right. Number 5. What do we got? Get featured. Get featured. You either need to put yourself in a position to be found or learn how to connect with platforms that are seen as having all of the authority in your niche. Once you get featured on those platforms, that authority rubs off on your brand as well. So as you are creating content and you're building your platforms and you're becoming Googleable, you need to get featured. The people who have the authority, so news houses automatically have the authority in any country, right? News houses, or, high level or high profile people in your industry. If they do interviews if they do interviews, then you want to ensure that you are getting interviewed by the top people, right? Once you get interviewed by the top people, or you're getting interviewed by the news houses for real stuff with substance, because in Trinidad, I see people getting interviewed for all kinds of stuff, but it's not always, stuff of substance. I mean, you get featured, but it's not always of substance, right? You want to make sure that when you get interviewed, you're coming with stuff. You're coming with substance. You're coming with, somebody should say, yo, I just listened or read or watched that interview with you, and dude, you know what you're talking about. I loved what you had to say. I signed up for your website one time after reading what you were talking about. That is the vibes you want to be giving people after they've watched or read or listened to you getting featured somewhere. So you want to ensure that your work is getting noticed by the news houses, so that, again, they can come interview you and feature you. You want to ensure that the high profile people in your industry are noticing you enough to say, I have to come and talk to this person. I have to bring this woman or this man to my program and talk to him about whatever their space is. Right? You need to ensure that your work is getting noticed, that your work is getting found, that your work has substance, so that when the top profile people find you, they say, I have to interview this person. Or the news people say, I have to interview this person. Or, and this is even better, right? When news houses, a lot of reporters, because remember, reporters, they have their specialty, they have their niche that they dive in on, but they might be responsible for other topics that they don't really care about or they're not strong in. So what they will do is they will say, okay, well, we've been hearing about something. So like most recently, I got interviewed on Newsday to talk about the metaverse, right? The reporter, that's not his specialty, but he's a reporter. So I'm going to go out and find the experts. Who are the people that come to mind when it comes to metaverse, NFTs, crypto? Let me go holler at Karen Rose and Carl Maloney. And that is how that whole thing, that's how that came about. So again, you want to be that authority figure. And when you get to that space of authority in your niche, the opportunities come to you first. You are top of mind for everybody who even has to think about your industry. So let me recap the top 5 ways to build your authority in your space. Number 1, partnerships. Find brands, companies that align with you and your mission or have a similar mission. Find ways to solve problems for their audience and create that relationship and that partnership and do some partnered work together. Number 2, guess right. Go look for news houses or authority figures in your space and reach out to them to write on their platforms. Number 3, case studies. Work with companies, big, small, known, unknown, whoever you can get a hold of. Work with them to create a case study. Work with them at no cost, especially when you are coming out. Turn them into a case study. Try to work with them for a limited amount of time. Try to get a result. Let them know that, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and I want to take you from here to here. And all I want to do is document the process. So once you document that process, then you can use it as content and build that case study out of it. And you could showcase to people that you have the skill sets that you are constantly talking about. All right. Number 4, write a book, right? Write a book. Writing a book is a surefire way to leapfrog yourself as an authority figure in your space. Write that 30,000 word book minimum, because a 30,000 word book allows you to dive deep into a topic. It allows you to give people a roadmap, a blueprint, take them from point A to point B. By the time they are reading it, they should be enlightened. They should say, this person knows their stuff. And it's a tangible asset that you could use to generate opportunities. Don't try to make money off the book. Use the book to generate opportunities, because the money is going to come by way of paid workshops. It's going to come by paid speaking gigs. It's going to come by you selling merch. It's going to come by you selling your money's going to come. But make that book and use it. Focus on using it as a lead generator for the rest of your business and help propel you as a thought leader in your space. And number 5, as we just said, getting featured. Go put yourself in a position to be found via Google. Put yourself in a position that when people people want to interview you. You are an expert. They want to interview you. They want to talk to you. They want to get your story. Or if they're struggling with some information and they want to speak to an expert, you should be top of mind. News houses or authority figures should be reaching out to you to bring you in on their platform so you guys can have a conversation where you are in the role of the expert. And remember, because these people have high authority or a high authority figure, or they're a news house, that authority is going to rub off on you. That is 5 ways as to how to build authority in your space. We got to drop a bomb for that, right? We got to drop a bomb. Again, I got to take a little sip for something. The 35th birthday is coming up. Oh, my God. We're just a couple hours away. But yeah, that is it from me for today's episode. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, whatever podcast directory you are listening to this episode from, make sure you drop a rating, drop a review. That helps to build the Digipreneur FM community worldwide. And the more people we have entering the community, the better this place will be, because we'll be able to learn together. Right? So definitely drop a rating, drop a review on the podcast directory. If you have not followed me on social medias yet, jump on LinkedIn. You could find me there. You could find me on Instagram as well. And most recently, you can find me on TikTok, dancing away and giving out information on that platform as well, right? So you could find me on those platforms at Karen Rose. I look forward to engaging with you on those other platforms as well. That is it from me, Digipreneur FM. Yeah, oh my goodness, I saw I butchered that. That is it from me, Digipreneur FM family. Take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karan Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karan Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.